As we're talking about shortening our golf swing and we know that we overhinge our elbows, let's talk about this a little bit. And the reason I started with that swing fault of the lead arm is everybody looks at the lead arm and says, wow, that's broken at the top of my backswing. Hey everyone, in this video we're going to talk about how to shorten your golf swing. I'm going to give you 3 common swing faults as to why I see people overswing, and I'm going to give you 3 drills to help you fix those swing faults. Now, I've really enjoyed bringing this free content to you. In our YouTube community, it's growing, and that's very exciting. And I want it to continue to grow, and you can help me do that. And the way you can do it is by liking this video when it's over, subscribing to my YouTube channel, which the easiest way to do that is that red button right in the corner of this video, and that just alerts you when I have new videos available for you to watch. And then comment, ask questions. What did you like? What would you like to see me talk about in future videos? Okay, so the first question we have to ask ourselves is, why are we shortening our swing? And obviously, part of the reason you're going to shorten your swing is you know that it's long, or people tell you you overswing, or you've seen it on video and you see that it's an overswing. But I want to use a little word of caution here, is that I don't want you to shorten your swing because you look at video or your friends tell you that you swing the club too long, but you're a heck of a player and you hit the ball really well, you hit it far, you hit it straight. Then there's no reason to do it for just an aesthetic reason. Now, if you swing the club too far back, a good reason to shorten your golf swing would be that I have a hard time controlling the bottom of my golf swing. I struggle with contact. I struggle with distance. And those of you who've watched my YouTube channel for a while now, you've seen me make swings, and my whole life I have had a long swing. And when I say long, past parallel. And the thing is, during my career, I've tried to shorten it. I've been on a pilgrimage of, you know what, I have a long swing here. I know I'd play better if I shorten it. And every attempt I've made at shortening my golf swing, I hit the ball shorter, not further. So we really got to ask the question before we shorten our golf swing as to why we're shortening our golf swing. And there's some valid reasons that we should, but aesthetics is not one of them. If you're, and there's been players over time that play with a long golf swing and have played very successfully. John Daly comes to mind. He probably stands out the most. Phil Mickelson, past parallel, VJ, Singh. So it's not that it can't be done. And if you're a heck of a player and you got a little bit of a long swing, keep being a heck of a player. If you're struggling with the bottom of your golf swing, contact, distance, okay, let's take a deeper dive and figure out how we can fix it. So let's get into the swing faults that I see as to why people overswing and why they would need to shorten their golf swing. And the first one I want to talk about is I see people get to the top, and I would say this is probably the most common. 1 or 2 are very common. 3 would be a little less common, but again, can be common as well. So when they get to the top of the backswing, their elbows break down, or they've learned to hinge their elbows, and I see this a lot with beginners, as they're comfortable hinging their elbows. They're not real comfortable hinging their wrists or using the wrist as a lever the way that they're supposed to be. Because again, it's a confidence thing. They're not even sure if they're going to hit the golf ball. So am I going to get these wrists involved? Probably not. So if you've ever started somebody playing golf, if you've been around a beginner, typically you see them hinge their elbows and not their wrists, or they do both. Or you can see players who've become decent players, but again, overhinge the elbows or overhinge the wrists together, but certainly the elbows. So I want to start to talk about something that we can do if you clearly are somebody who breaks those elbows down, like you've done it for a long time, it's something I need to correct. What can I do to correct it? So there are 2 common swing faults that I hear from players when they come to me and they have a self-diagnosis. And one of them is I picked my head up, or the other one is my lead arm is bent. So if you're a left-handed player like me, it's going to be your right arm is bent at the top of your backswing. Or if you're a right-handed player, it's going to be the left arm is bent at the top of the backswing. So I hear those two things. And can we play from there? Certainly. Just ask Jordan Spieth and Lee Westwood. So it doesn't necessarily have to be straight to play good golf. But as we're talking about shortening our golf swing, and we know that we overhinge our elbows, let's talk about this a little bit. And the reason I started with that swing fault of the lead arm is everybody looks at the lead arm and says, wow, that's broken at the top of my backswing. But what I want you to pay a little bit more attention to is your trail arm. So left arm for a lefty, right arm for a righty. And if that trail arm shortens, guess what's going to happen to the lead arm? It's going to shorten as well. So the first fix, or the first thing that I want to work on, is you overswing, and you overswing because your elbows break down, is we're going to work on this trail arm, and we're going to work on keeping it long. If I can keep this trail arm longer, well then look at my lead arm. And so now I'm not broken down, and guess what? I have a shorter golf swing. So one thing that you can do to get a good feel for this, and we see this with tour players, is you can get really close to a wall and you can make a backswing and just kind of put your palm against the wall and almost pushing against the wall. And that would get that left arm in a much better position to where that lead arm is in a good position. So the first drill that I want to introduce to you to help you fix this, it's what I call a stop and go drill. And when I do stop and go drills, I always do them off a tee. And what we're going to do, I'm going to put the ball on a tee here, and I'll show you in just a second. But I'm just going to rehearse once or twice to the top of my backswing, and I'm really going to concentrate on that trail arm and pushing against that wall. And so from down the line, it's going to look more like this. And then I'm going to make a swing where I feel that. I'm going to stop at the top, make sure it's there. I'm going to actually look at it. And then I'm going to finish my swing and just take it off the tee. So when you're doing this stop and go drill, you're stopping at the top, and we're going to have the ball really high on a tee, so we're not worried about contact, and we're not hitting it the full distance. We're just starting to train something different. And this sort of change is going to take a while. This isn't something that you're going to do for a week and, hey, all of a sudden my swing is shorter. This is going to take a little bit of practice, but over time you'll see it start to trend towards shorter. So I'm going to put a ball up on a tee here, and let me walk you through the stop and go drill. So you can see I have it pretty high on the tee. I don't want it right against the ground. I want to give myself a little bit of forgiveness. I'm just going to take my trail arm and I'm just going to push it against the wall like we talked about. Getting that trail arm longer. I know if I do that, the lead arm's going to be better. And now I'm just going to make a couple rehearsal swings where I really feel that trail arm pushing against the wall. And then I'm going to go to the top and stop, and I'm going to make a swing, and I'm going to hit it right off the top of the tee. And this might go 40, 50, maybe up to 100 yards, but it's definitely not full power. I'm just trying to change a motor pattern, which takes a lot of time, but I'm getting the feeling of the new motor pattern. So here we go. So I go to the top, I feel that push against the wall, and then I just finish my golf swing. And I would say that maybe went 80 yards. It was struck very solidly, and it was definitely a shorter swing for me. So that's the first fault, is I know it's my elbows. My whole golfing career, my elbows have been breaking down. You want to feel that trail arm a little longer. That'll extend the lead arm. The lead arm's the one we always see on the camera because it's the one closest to us. So now let's get into the second swing fault. And the second swing fault is I'm okay with the elbows, but I get to the top of my backswing and I really overhinge my wrists. This is a Mark Durland swing fault. And it would be more of what you see with John Daly, where his arms are fairly straight, but he just really has some extra hinge of the wrists at the top of the backswing. And so what we're going to do is we're going to stay right here with the stop and go drill. It's just now I'm going to change my focus. And I know when I overhinge my wrists, I like to think about my thumbs, and when I overhinge them, my thumbs are going to be pointed, more back down at the ground over here. And so to make a small change in golf, we got to feel like we move it a mile. And so that's what we're going to train. And I'm going to work on pointing my thumbs to the sky. So they're not the club's not parallel, my thumbs aren't pointing directly behind me, and they're certainly not pointing to the ground behind me. What they're doing is I'm just pointing them to the sky. And so to me, in my usual golf swing, that feels much more 3/4 than what I usually use. And again, we're gonna do the stop and go where I just feel it a couple times. I'm gonna stop at the top, and I'm gonna go ahead and hit the ball off the tee, not hitting it for distance, just trying to create a feel. We're working on changing a motor pattern. All right, so here we go. So you can rehearse it once or twice. Thumbs are to the sky, okay, no extra hinging. And then I go. So I hit 2 shots, and I think aggregate they're about 6 feet from that white pin out there. I'm not sure if you guys can see it. I can't see the camera right now, but very good, and definitely something I should probably start working on again. All right, so you know that you hinge your elbows, and you're gonna work on that trail arm pushing against the wall. You know it's the wrist, so you're gonna do the stop and go, just pointing those thumbs towards the sky, not engaging the wrists at all. So if we engage them less when we make our full swing, hopefully we'll, again, engage them less, and the swing, instead of being here, maybe will be here, and we'll be shortening it. Now the last way that I see people get long is that their arms come off their body. So as they're making a good rotation away from the golf swinger, it's kind of a combination of a lot of them, right? Their arms, as they're rotating away, their arms are working off their body, which makes the club get longer. Maybe there's a little extra hinge, maybe there's a little extra elbow. But really the primary fault there is those arms working off the body. So the drill I'm going to use here when I see the arms working off the body is I'm just going to take 2 gloves, and I'm going to tuck them right up underneath my arms. And I'm going to start making some golf swings where I keep those under my arms, where I keep the gloves under my arms as I'm swinging. And again, what we're going to do is we're going to start from off a tee, nice and high on the tee, probably a little bit of a stop and go drill. But with all these drills that I've shown you, eventually what you want to do is you want to get to the ground and hitting them full speed. So you start off a tee, stop and go, you go to the ground, stop and go, and then finally it's like, okay, I've got a feel for this, it's doing a lot better, you know, your friends are helping you, or you have it on camera, you can see it. All right, the last phase is I'm going to just drop a ball on the ground and I'm going to make it work. And keep the video close, keep the video handy, because it'll create the feedback loop that you need to see whether you're improving or not. All right, so let me grab a tee here. I'm going to get my golf ball up on a tee again. And I'm going to tuck these gloves right up under my arm. I'm going to make a couple practice swings. I really feel my biceps tucked against my rib cage. My arms are much closer to my body. They're not moving off. And so I'm going to go to the top and stop, and then I'm going to swing through and just tap it right off the top of the tee. Now the cool thing about this is you can train with the gloves when you're on the driving range, but this is something you can actually take to the golf course and make that transition there. And as I already mentioned, what we can feel is as you're on the golf course playing during a round, you can feel like your biceps are pinching the sides of your rib cage. Again, that'll keep the arms from working off your body. Or the other thing you can do, and you've seen Justin Rose do this with his lead side, but you can just take your shirt and just kind of tuck it underneath. Even on the range you could do this if you don't have gloves available. Just take your shirt, tuck it under your arms, and again, I'm just holding that together. So just a few swing faults as to why I see the swing get long, and a few great fixes for you. So now you have a deeper understanding of why you overswing, what makes your golf swing get long, and you have a few fantastic fixes to help you shorten your golf swing. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I have 2 more here right now that I promise will continue to help you improve your game. And remember, please like, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and comment.